Hey, good morning, everybody. Appreciate you being here. I'm still trying to actually, oh my goodness, deal with a couple of technical issues, not to mention the least of which is it appears that I'm here by myself this morning. I'm not sure what's up with Joe. I think he fell asleep, and that's it. We lost him. Honestly, if he did fall asleep, you know what? Much needed sleep for him. Today's a new day. Normally, Joe and I are here live Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, as always, giving you the Crypto Market Monday report. I decided that after talking with Joe, we should probably try a midweek check-in. Eventually, I'd like to try and do one toward the weekend, bring in the weekend. But right now, at least on a Wednesday. So starting today, the plan is to go live on Wednesdays as well, 11 a.m. Eastern time, do a little check-in. So again, I know this is new, and Joe asked me to remind him, and I have reached out to him a couple of times. That's why I'm hoping he's okay, but I'm guessing he probably fell asleep. Lord knows the man needs to sleep. So I appreciate everybody as you're starting to check in here. Thank you for jumping on in. I can see we got some people on X and on YouTube. Appreciate both. Make sure you're smashing up that like button, share this out. I appreciate that as we continue to try and grow the channel. And Automatic Beats in the house, appreciate you. Yes, good morning, sir. Appreciate that. All right. So I'm going to do my best without things here. Yes, the T.I. Joe. Exactly. T.I. Joe emoji. I bingo bango, baby. I don't know where Joe is, but hopefully maybe he'll check in toward the as we keep going with the stream here. But yes, again, smash that like. Appreciate that very much. All right. So I'm going to go on without him, obviously. We'll talk about what I had lined up news-wise to talk about. So the only thing I guess we're not going to do until Joe gets here, if he gets here, is to look at the Bitcoin chart. And I was going to ask him to look at the OM chart because the first thing I had on the list was to talk a little bit about Mantra and what is going on with OM. I've got a couple of things. Matter of fact, just put out a little bit earlier. Thank you. Shout out to Army Piper and the Piper Academy. Link is in the description if you're not already following Piper and the Piper Academy. You're missing the morning market report on 10 a.m. Eastern time every weekday. Make sure you're checking that out. Anyway, okay, so to start with here, you all know that basically OM dropped over 90% over the weekend, this past weekend. And just to give you a little of background here, and the links to everything that I'm showing you with one exception, and I'll put that in the chat, is in the description. So go ahead and check these out and do your own research later on. Basically, Mantra co-founder John Patrick Mullen says he was asleep when the OM token sell-off started. Do I believe that? It doesn't matter what I believe, I guess, at the end of the day. It matters what you believe. At the end of the day, I and many other people here in the space believe, I think, that this was a bit of a coin, a rug pull. And in this particular link, and this is in the description, he did an interview. So I'm going to suggest that you go ahead and check that out. But what I did want to go to today is this from Coin Bureau. Mantra's 90% price drop, which was 5.5 billion, is now 30 million OM token burn. And we're going to read through this real quick. And this is what Piper had on his show this morning. So again, shout out to Piper for taking that and running with it and putting that out, because honestly, I might have missed this before the show. Alexandra G in the house. Wait a minute. I thought you changed to Alexandra B. Just messing with you. Everybody put that mod queen emoji into the chat. Yeah, I'm on my own this morning. I don't know what is going on with Joe. Hopefully he's just asleep, and that will be that. Yeah, there we go. Woo-woo. So yes, put those emojis into the chat. I'm gonna put it in myself right now. Mod Queen emojis. There we go. All right. So anyway, shout out to Piper. Like I was saying that he put this out this morning. So let's just read through this real quick. Mantra CEO John Mullen plans to burn all of his team's 300 million OM tokens worth about $236 million to restore community trust. The 300 million OM tokens represent 16.88% of the total supply and were initially locked with a scheduled release between April of 2027 and October of 2029. Okay, so I mean, I guess that's something. If nothing else, to show that he wants to continue forward, I guess, with the project and trying to keep people, I don't want to say bullish, but at least happy with the fact that the project is moving forward. So let's hope that this helps to do that. Although you got Automatic Beats pretty much summing it up right here. Trust is long gone. And if it's not that person is dumb. If not, that person that trusts them is dumb. Yes, agreed. Automatic Beats. I agree. Trust is definitely gone. I think definitely gone. But here is the latest in the attempts by OM and its founder to go ahead and restore some trust here in the space. We'll see if it works. We will see. So again, I know people are just jumping in, and I know you're expecting Joe to be here with me this morning, as was I. Like I said, I've tried to reach him. I think he fell asleep. I hope he's at least getting some sleep. I'm hoping that is all it is. But appreciate everybody that's here. Make sure, again, if you're new, you subscribe, tick that bell icon, click the all, share this thing out. I really appreciate that, especially for those who are watching on X. Appreciate you watching on X. Thank you. Say hey in the chat. I'll give you a quick shout out. Appreciate that. And of course, smash up that like button. Thank you very much for that. Okay, I need a sip of coffee. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to talk a little bit about gold. Now, I want to bring up this video interview that Anthony Pompliano did on Squawk Box over the weekend. I think it's a little longer. Generally, I don't like running videos that's this long on a live stream, but we're going to probably watch most of it because I love how they continue throughout the course of this interview to interrupt him and try, I don't know if it's to trip him up or whatever, with regard to what he's saying as he's talking about gold. As gold seems to be like picking up and the price just seems to be going up and then Bitcoin is just stagnating, at least as far as price action is concerned. Now, what Anthony Pompliano is trying to talk about here is that historically, since Bitcoin's inception, when we see these move ups with gold, Bitcoin follows a few months later, which, if that is true, means we will be seeing a summer pump here with Bitcoin. But I'll let him do the talking here, and I'll stop in between as we listen to this, because again, it's a little bit long, but I think we'll get through the better part of it.
Welcome back to Squawk Box this morning. I want to take a look at the crypto market right now. Anthony Pompliano is here. He's the founder and CEO of Professional Capital Management. Bitcoin now sitting about $85,000, $86,000 after touching what was the most recent low. We're going to say about $76,000.
Correct.
Where are we going here? And how are you thinking about Bitcoin relative to gold in this particular moment?
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's really talking about right now. Bitcoin is down about 10% to start the year. Gold's up 20%. But if you look out over 1 year, they're both up about 35%. So it's pretty interesting that there's been this divergence. But if you go back and you take a look, you can actually see that gold usually leads these rallies. And nobody really knows why that happens. My kind of guess would be that a lot of the central banks and institutional investors, they're either not approved to buy Bitcoin or they're not used to running to Bitcoin in these moments of kind of geopolitical uncertainty. What we do see, though, is when gold runs about 100 days later or so, Bitcoin not only catches up, it usually runs much harder. And so you get that kind of higher volatility.
How much are you seeing?
Whoops, I was trying to pause that there. Anyway, let's talk about that for a minute. I appreciate the fact that he points that out, and he's not the only one that's pointed that out. If you are part of crypto X, crypto Twitter, or whatever the hell it's called at this point, you've seen a lot of people talk about that who are mostly Bitcoin maxis, but then who are relating that to gold, because again, the markets, they, in my opinion, everything is still kind of in tandem here at this point. But gold has been lately, and I've talked about it on a number of Crypto Market Mondays. As a matter of fact, I didn't think to do it, but I've put out a few different videos about gold. I will add those in up in the corner here when when this live stream is over. That way, whoever's watching this on the replay can easily click over and go ahead and watch those. But they're moving gold around like crazy, and gold has been the canary in the coal mine, at least as the price action is concerned, with regard to saying, well, okay, this market cannot be very healthy because, oh my goodness, look what's going on with the price. And I am still working on trying to get Daniel Diaz here on a live stream, either on a Monday or a Wednesday. But again, remember, he's been doing a lot of that legislative action in Florida, trying to get gold and silver as legal tender there, trying to get that passed. So I'm still working on that. Be patient. I'm going to try and get him in here. All right, let's get back to this, because here's where they start going back and forth with Pomp a little bit. As he's trying to explain this and give the case, the bull case for what at this point in our calendar would be maybe around a July pump with regard to Bitcoin. Oh, I think I just backed it up a little bit. I am so sorry about that. Yeah,
So he leads these rallies, and nobody really knows why that happens. My kind of guess would be that a lot of the central banks and institutional investors, they're either not approved to buy Bitcoin, or they're not used to running to Bitcoin in these moments of kind of geopolitical uncertainty. What we do see, though, is when gold runs about 100 days later or so, Bitcoin not only catches up, it usually runs much harder. And so you get that kind of higher volatility.
How much are you seeing people either buying or selling Bitcoin direct, meaning actual Bitcoin, versus playing the ETF market, and the ETF market effectively buying the Bitcoin or selling the Bitcoin on their behalf?
Yeah, I think you get both now, right? It used to be obviously all retail and all direct and spot market, but I do see a lot of people using these ETFs. And I think what a lot of people kind of missed over maybe the last couple of months is there was a sovereign wealth fund that came out and said, hey, we actually got Bitcoin exposure through the ETF. And the reason why I thought that was interesting is there's a lot of conversation about Bitcoin and the geopolitical kind of debate, if you will. And one of the things is, if you are buying Bitcoin and you're actually taking control of that Bitcoin in a self-custody way, you may be doing it for things other than price. You may be worried about the U.S. Treasury market or maybe sanctions or something like that. But if you're buying Bitcoin via the ETFs, you're simply just getting price exposure. You're not actually doing it from a geopolitical strategy standpoint. And so I think there's a lot of countries around the world that are saying,
and for those of us here in the space, obviously we already know this, but again, remember, he's having this conversation on CNBC, and most of the people who watch CNBC, again, not trying to be ageist, are of a certain age. I'm probably the base age on that. They're probably much older than I am even, and unfortunately, they're not used to Bitcoin. They probably can't even wrap their head around what it is. And so, he needs to take this extra step to explain that to the people of that age bracket who might be like trying to wrap their head around Bitcoin. So, yeah, I know for us, this is a little bit boring per se, but necessary, I think, with regard to the demographic that CNBC is catering
to themselves. Well, the United States has a strategic Bitcoin reserve. They're openly talking about the fact that they're going to go buy more. We should have a Bitcoin strategy. Doesn't mean that we have to buy. We could just sit it out. But we need to have a decision here. And buying the ETF allows me to get price exposure, but not actually take on the geopolitical risk of having to talk to you.
Do you think they're going to actually be buying? I mean, that is a big question right now. I mean, yes, we have indicated that we're going to create this reserve, at least initially, with, confiscated Bitcoin and the like. But do you think that there's definitely a sort of all green lights ahead for the taxpayer effectively to be buying Bitcoin? Because that's what we're talking about.
So
You're talking about tariff money going.
So I went down to Washington, D.C. last week.
Yeah, that was the latest thing, and you could kind of hear it in the background where he was talking about the rumors are out there now that they're going to use tariff money to try and buy Bitcoin to add to the Bitcoin strategic reserve here in the United States. Now, whether that happens, that still remains to be seen. But again, the fact that this is being talked about even at the national level, and we've seen at a lot of local levels, and we've talked about that on many a Crypto Market Monday, that this whole idea of Bitcoin reserves is starting to really get out into more mainstream. But even with that, again, like I just mentioned, it's among demographic lines. The older demographic definitely either doesn't want to understand it or needs to get more information about it.
To the White House, I interviewed Bo Hines, who's the executive director of the President's Advisor Council for Digital Assets. And I explicitly asked him this question. And the thing that he said to me that I think kind of took away was not only are they going to have the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, which we have, they are going to buy as much Bitcoin as they possibly can. And
with what money? And does that have to be authorized by Congress?
So there's a bunch of different ways they could do it. I think what they're trying to figure out is what is the best way to do it. And so a couple of examples would be they could revalue the gold, they could sell some of that, they can then go and they could buy Bitcoin.
Does that have to be done with Congress's approval?
There's a debate around who would be responsible, who would be involved. And they have
all this has to be done with executive order. I mean,
well, they have an interagency.
This guy is just like, okay, well, do you need Congress? Do you need Congress? And listen, sorry, I don't see Pomp as being the guy who's able to answer that question, which is why I was mentioning in the beginning of this, like why they're just like on him about this doesn't make sense to me. The fact of the matter is, yes, there will be legal challenges to this. There will be congressional or potentially congressional challenges to this. So we will see. But I'm going to try and let him round this off real quick, and then we'll move on because I have some other gold and Bitcoin related news. So let's get to that.
Group right now that's working together. And so at that table is everyone from energy policymakers to law enforcement to economic advisors. Kind of everyone is trying to figure this out. I don't think you're going to see kind of very rash decision making kind of unilaterally, but I do think that working group is trying to figure it out. But you also have things like the tariff revenue or other areas where we may be saving money that we previously were wasting or abusing. And so I think that is probably, to me, the thing that the market most misunderstands is it's not just, hey, we're going to hold the Bitcoin. They're going to actively try to buy Bitcoin. And there's other countries around the world, they may be acquiring Bitcoin by mining and using natural resources that they have there. And so I think there's a lot of strategies here that the U.S. is going to pursue.
And maybe I'm just, this part I am scared.
And we've seen that. We've already seen a number of countries, again, highlighted on Crypto Market Mondays with Joe. And again, for those who are just kind of jumping in, I can see we got a bunch of people jumping in on X. Welcome. Appreciate you being here. Again, chime on into the chat and I'll give you a quick shout out. Joe is MIA at the moment. I'm kind of hoping he's taking a nap. He is a hardworking guy between his being on various live streams, running his own live streams, and then being in his trading group. I don't know when he sleeps. We make fun of it all the time because I really don't know when he sleeps. I'm hoping that that's what's happened, that he fell asleep on me. And but anyway, that's why Joe is not here at the moment. I'm hoping he'll jump in before this is over. But for those who are coming in, that's why Joe isn't here right now. All right, I'm going to let this wrap, and then we'll move on.
Skeptical about, given the question mark about how much money we actually will raise as a function of tariffs, because if we look, arguably, if we can get down to 0-0, there will be no tariffs. That would be a pretty good outcome too.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that's going to shake out. If you want to lower taxes on tips and everything else, you're going to need to offset that with something else. Effectively, you're buying Bitcoin, you're leveraging up the taxpayer like that. You're basically going to have to sell treasuries to buy Bitcoin. So you could. That's like what Michael Saylor does. It's just in a different format. And the question is whether the American public is game for that. I think that's a very sort of fundamental question.
Well, I think that gold has served this purpose for a very long time. Obviously, the United States has done very well holding on to that gold.
Yes.
And what people are really starting to wrap their heads around is that Bitcoin is digital gold. And so as we head into this world, you need things that are sound money, right? That's ultimately what you're trying to do here. And gold is an analog version of sound money. It's outside of the legacy financial system.
If
and
you
no
don't
one can create
believe
more.
that, if you don't, in this case, if you don't believe it, then it could be a huge mistake.
Listen, I think that every decision they make financially could be a mistake, right? Holding gold could be a mistake in the future.
Right.
So you have to take some degree of risk.
Holding fiat, holding bonds, holding, long duration bond, all those things could be bigger mistakes than Bitcoin.
I think that the big shift that's happened, obviously, many people that watch this show probably grew up in a 60-40 portfolio world. A lot of the younger people are saying that 60-40 portfolio no longer works for me. And so things like Bitcoin are entering into that conversation. And as these young people ascend to positions of power and influence, I think they'll have a big hand in making these decisions.
All right, and we're gonna end that right there because he points out what I kind of highlighted way back in the beginning, that this kind of falls along the lines of age demographics. The group that is watching CNBC is my age and up, probably, and generally speaking, kind of fixed in their mindset, grew up in the, as he pointed out, the 60-40 portfolio, and not necessarily looking for something in a digital asset realm. I mean, they're just not. Versus the younger generation who is used to this kind of thing and able to pivot, if you would, with regard to their mindset on assets, and in this particular case on Bitcoin. So again, A West, I don't know that I gave you a shout out earlier. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. And he was saying that it looks like Joe streamed last night, so maybe he's asleep. Yeah, I'm guessing that's what it is. Joe, hardworking guy here in the space. He really, really is. And I can't say enough about him. Again, he's with me here on Mondays, 11 a.m. Eastern time, Crypto Market Mondays. Today was the maiden voyage of Wednesdays for us. And so knowing him, it was funny. Yesterday, he said to me, hey, make sure you remind me. This is new. I'll forget. And I tried to remind him. I've kind of messaged him throughout the morning, but yeah, I think he slept through his alarm here. This is my guess. And also, he's here on Friday nights. For those who don't already know, every Friday night, Crypto on the Rocks, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna put that Crypto on the Rocks emoji into the chat. Members here get the access to those emojis, so go ahead, put them in the chat if you've got them. And A West, thanks for letting me know that. I appreciate that very much. Joe is a new sleepy Joe. Yeah, right. I know. Joe never sleeps, man. Joe never sleeps. Yes, exactly. Put that. Thank you, Alexander G, with those Crypto on the Rocks emojis every Friday night, 7 p.m. Make sure that you join in for that. All right, let's move on. And to what I then boy, this is where it's nice to have someone else here so he can take up the slack when I am not talking straight. But anyway, you're stuck with me at this point. Okay, we're going to look at this from Coin Bureau, and basically here he's pointing out that China is selling seized crypto. I think this was something else that Piper actually talked about this morning. Again, link to Piper Academy in the description. So make sure you're following them if you don't already, despite its trading ban. So local governments are using private firms to sell crypto for cash to fund public budgets. China reportedly holds 194,000 Bitcoin. So at current prices, approximately $16 billion worth, making China the second largest holder behind the US. That doesn't help with the price action, that's for sure. And yes, thank you, Alexandra. Links in the description. Thank you. So the fact that they're selling, to me, also plays to the instability with the yuan, however you pronounce that, and the fact that these tariffs that we've been kind of going back and forth with may be having, or may be already affecting the stability of the Chinese economy. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right. So we're gonna move on from that, and we're gonna talk about exchanges. Now, I'm gonna hope that the majority of people here don't hold their crypto on exchanges. Unless you're trading, I get it. Then you need to have your crypto on an exchange in order to do what it is you need to do. But when you have two major exchanges and go down because they are tapped into AWS, that's a problem. Because guess what they do? Like it says right here, Binance suspends withdrawals to keep user funds safe. So Binance and KuCoin had this happen yesterday, I believe it was. And as this article from Crypto Slate points out, it shows a vulnerability in the centralized infrastructure being used here in the cryptocurrency space. It just does. This is one of the issues that I have with the MetaMask wallet. Very convenient, great to be able to access multiple chains, can leave it right in your browser, etc. But they use AWS. So when stuff like this happens, they are potentially affected. Again, links to all of this in the description. So go ahead and check this out. But I hope that you are not keeping your crypto on an exchange, on a centralized exchange. And heck, even a DeFi exchange for that matter, unless, of course, actively trading. Okay. I am going to, and again, I know this is going to be a quicker live stream than I had originally planned. However, like I said, we are not going to be going through the Bitcoin chart because charting is not my thing. That's Joe's thing. That's not my thing. I mean, I keep it simple, stupid, and I like levels like Joe talks about, but that's going to be the extent of it. And I'm not going to try and teach you anything to do with that. But what I am going to look over right now is a quick video, and I'm going to show you this quick video from Ray Dalio. Give you my proverbial 2 cents and tell me what you think in the chat with regard to this. So here we go. Ray Dalio over the weekend on Meet the Press talking about he believes something worse than a recession is coming to a country near you. So let's let him talk, and then I'll give you my proverbial 2 cents and potential take on this.
I think that right now we are at a decision-making point and very close to a recession. And I'm worried about something worse than a recession if this isn't handled well. A recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP, and whether it goes slightly there, we always have those things. We have something that's much more profound. We have a breaking down of the monetary order. We are going to change the monetary order because we cannot spend the amounts of money. So we have that problem. And when we talk about the dollar and we talk about tariffs, we have that. We are having profound changes in our domestic order, how ruling is existing. And we're having profound changes in the world order. Such times are very much like the 1930s. I've studied history, and this repeats over and over again. So if you take tariffs, if you take debt, if you take the rising power challenging the existing power, if you take those factors and look at the factors, those changes in the orders, the systems, are very, very disruptive. How that's handled could produce something that is much worse than a recession.
Okay. So that, I guess, is the question. How is it going to be handled, and what are those changing orders going to be? Oh, I see Joe.
I've been here the whole time. I've been here the whole time. No, I haven't.
Really?
No.
Oh, that's all right, man. I apologize for not seeing you hiding in the background there. I've been so focused on what I'm doing. All right, let me get this out the way here.
Just jumped in.
Oh, see, I would have believed you, man. I would have believed you.
No. And I just got back, guys. I just got back. Do apologize. I got back from La La Land, snooze land. Good Lord, man. I was up all night trading and heard the alarm. As a matter of fact, I woke up before the alarm. I woke up at 7. I said, man, feels great. I said, but it's only like a few hours of sleep. I said, let me rest. Didn't hear nothing after that.
And that was that. That's all they wrote. Well, T.I. Joe's, come on, Bingo Bango's in the chat. Put him in there. He's got the coffee. He's here. I appreciate you, Joe. I really do. Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll give you a minute. I'll give my 2 cents. I don't know if you heard that whole thing from Ray Dalio right there. Okay. Basically, he's talking about, the potential for something worse than a recession coming and looming on the horizon. And now, for those who watch Piper Academy, that Army Piper has been beating this drum to death with regard to a recession. And I'll tell you what, the more I watch the morning market report, the more I believe that's what's coming down the line. I don't see how we're going to avoid that as we go forward. But Ray Dalio here is talking about changing the entire economic order. So what does that mean? Now, I'm not trying to because he doesn't go into specific details, and I'm not trying to read his mind. Not my job. That's not what I do. But I will say that there are a few options that we've already seen, because as you know, in his last book, he does this whole historical breakdown of financial gains, losses, history, how the booms and busts throughout history have happened. And he references that. And so then referencing the change in the economic order. So to me, that means he's looking at potentially a change from the fiat system. Again, this is my own 2 cents. This is my own interpretation of that interview. But what are the options? Well, there's going back to a gold standard, obviously. And we talked about that when we were watching Anthony Pompliano on the Squawk Box just a little while ago with everything he was saying. But even in that particular interview, he references the fact that this younger generation is looking for something like Bitcoin. And now that could be the other thing that Ray Dalio has and is referencing, changing over to this digital asset kind of economy. And personally, from some of the previous statements he said in within the last year, I believe that might be where Dalio is kind of pointing with regard to what he sees coming with this economic status. Joe, is there anything you want to add to that? I mean, I know I'm just babbling on here, but I've been thinking about this since I watched that video, and I don't know. That's what I'm taking from this. I'm thinking we're moving in that direction versus going back to the analog gold kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's the direction we're going, because we've done what doesn't work. Now let's do something that has a greater chance of working. So yeah.
Agreed. And there you go. A West saying good morning, Joe. There it is. Yeah. Like I said, Bingo Bango's in the chat. Appreciate that.
Bingo Bango. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, listen, Joe, I honestly, that was pretty much, I was going to wrap it all up there because I didn't think you were going to be showing up. Did you want to try to do a little bit on the Bitcoin chart? Are you ready for that? I know you just got here.
We'll do some Bitcoin. Give me about 30 seconds right now. I'm just trying to finish one thing.
No, that's okay. And now, are you planning on going live at noon?
Yeah, it's gonna be about noon. Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you want to work on that for a second, by all means, throw in a link for me in the private chat, and I'll get to that. While Joe is putting that together, just to kind of give you a breakdown as to what's going on for the rest of this week. Like I said, with regard to Wednesdays, Joe and I, today's the maiden voyage going into Wednesdays. So basically we're doing a crypto market Monday, So we're starting off your week looking at the crypto markets, the news over the weekend, that kind of thing. Mondays, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Then now Wednesday, starting today at 11 a.m. Eastern time, looking to do kind of a midweek check-in. Well, what's happened in the beginning of the week with regard to crypto news? Where are we looking as we're going toward the weekend? And what's the Bitcoin chart looking like, etc. So that's going forward starting today. Eventually, I told Joe so, but eventually I'm looking to do something on a Friday, kind of 11 a.m. I can't do that right now. My schedule doesn't allow for that, but to do a kind of, hey, here we go, we're coming into the weekend kind of thing. But if nothing else, Friday, Joe is always hanging out with us 7 p.m. Eastern time for Crypto on the Rocks. And listen, if you're not watching that, you need to be watching Crypto on the Rocks. All right, Joe, I think I see your chart in the background. Are you ready with that?
Yep, ready to go. Let's do it.
All right, let's talk Bitcoin charts. Here we go.
All right. So this is Bitcoin. I actually forgot. I did a midnight stream last night. I was like, why am I so tired? Oh yeah, I did a midnight stream. I did it for about 2 hours. And then after that, kind of winding down, then I'll tell you what. All right. And then of course charts and everything else. So here we go. This is Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. 4 hour, we were right here. And yesterday on one of my shows, I do a few, I was thinking that we're going to come down. It doesn't look good. Here we came up, we came down right into this box. We came up again a little bit higher, which looks good. But then we came down, and I'm always referring to the candle body closes. We came lower than the previous low. Not looking good. And this is like our decision point. Whenever I do yellow dots, that's our decision point. Are we going to go up or down? Because we broke this low, we didn't actually break the low with the wicks, but the candle bodies we did. Because of that, I'm thinking, man, to me, it looks like it wants to roll over. It went up, down, up a little bit higher, then it came down a little bit lower, and now time to roll over. Do I think we're out of the woods? No, sure don't. My plan A was for it to come down, plan B to go up. Now looking more at this, I do think that I just have this bias that we're going to go down until it can prove me otherwise. And the way it can prove me otherwise is if it breaks this level, 85,716. If it breaks it and maintains the support on here, that's the only way it can prove me otherwise. Because right now, I'm looking at potentially, now that I'm looking at it, potentially, this is our decision point right here too, which would be right now. So here was a decision point. Is it going to come down and go up? But since it did go up, this is my next decision point. Because I really do think it's going to come down and then potentially do something like this. So it's going to come down. I don't want it to come down, but just looking at this, it would be healthy if it came down. If we start gaining support here and then start working our way up, well, then all of this is just a bear trap. So that's the difficult part about trading. We never know what's going to happen. We are literally at the mercy of price action. If we zoom out just a little bit more, we can see, price was here. It was doing this, started to come down. And now what we're trying to do is we're trying to get back above the 87,500 level. We're trying. But until we do, we can still, just continue going lower and lower. And there's a lot of people right now, I'm sure everybody's watching them, that, they're talking about these numbers, 72. We have some that are, 60, kind of mid 60, low 60 levels. That's a lot of sixes on that one. But yeah, I don't like those numbers. So there's all these levels, but just know that we cannot come down here until we break these levels. So just know that. But yeah, that's what I pretty much got on Bitcoin. I don't think it looks good. I mean, just looking at the higher time frames, I mean, we can kind of just see it where we have, the highs, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, possibly a lower high. Right now, we're trying to battle it, trying to fight it. That's why this level is very important, trying to fight it. But we could potentially do another rollover and then make another lower low. So,
I mean, that just looking at it, that's what it looks like. I mean, you don't have to be somebody who's trading every day to look at that chart and go, ugh.
yeah, the main thing to do is just zoom out. Like if you don't know how to trade or anything like that, zoom out and you will be surprised at what you see. You're like, oh man. To me, like if I was brand new, just like how you said, this doesn't look good. Like if I saw another chart, everything's gonna come up. But if I saw another chart that was like this, I would want to do this, especially let me buy the high. I'd want to do this if I didn't know what I was doing. Here, this doesn't look good either. But this, I'm like, hey, it's going up. So yeah.
No, facts, and in there too, you've got the market makers trying to sweep liquidity on either end. Let's be honest. So you get those the fake outs on either direction. But I don't know. I think we got more room on the downside, if you ask me. My opinion.
Oh yeah.
For what
with
it's
so
worth.
much more room to the downside, it's ridiculous.
I agree. All right. Well, again, we're going to head over to Joe's channel and for his live stream, but we got about 20 minutes on that, right, Joe? You're going to need to have to get ready and that kind of thing, I would assume.
I can do it sooner. I can do it in like 5 minutes. So I can just get ready, reset the computer, and then go over there.
Okay. Well, if you want to do that, I'll send everybody over. Right now, we got 25 people on X. Appreciate you very much. But here's the thing. I want to send everybody straight over to Joe. If you're on X, unfortunately, the stream is just going to end. I can't forward you via X, but I can if you're watching on the tube. So we are going to definitely go over there and raid Joe's stream. I will share it on X. That way people who are watching can go and do that. But it's unfortunately for this stream, it's just going to end. So Joe, I'll tell you what, if you want to head over, we'll put some bingo bangos, get you heading out of here. And yeah, we'll head over there shortly.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you guys. Apologies.
Sound good?
Again, my flight was late. My chauffeur didn't show up today. The housekeeper forgot the key to the mansion. Whatever excuse you want to put, just know I overstepped. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you in a few minutes on my channel. Thank you.
Awesome. And Alexandra G, yes, mod queen extraordinaire, putting all that information in there. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. We're going to put the crowns, the mod queen emoji into the chat as well. Thank you. All right, just to kind of wrap everything up real quick, and then we'll head over to Joe. We'll give him a couple of minutes to just bring his stuff together. Again, starting today, every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, Joe and I will be live here. We'll be looking at the Bitcoin charts. We'll be talking about the latest kind of midweek check-in on what's going on in the crypto space. And as always, we'll keep to Mondays, 11 a.m. to kick off your week and show you what's going on and hopefully set you on a good path, whether you're trading crypto or just DCAing, whatever, through the course of the week. Rest of this week, dropping a video tomorrow. Second gem with regard to Redman. We're going to be talking about dollar cost averaging and making sure that you are taking profits. If you are a member on the YouTube channel, you already have access to that video. Members get early access to all the videos that I'm putting out. So if you haven't already watched it and you're a member, go check that out. Otherwise, tomorrow, I'll be dropping that video for everybody else. And then again, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Crypto on the Rocks. This Friday, Crypto Bedell birthday. So we're going to be celebrating that live on Crypto on the Rocks. going to be a busy weekend for Bedell. And then later through the course of the weekend, he'll talk more about it on Friday. He's thinking he's going to try and do a live stream with him and Shuby and the ladies. So stay tuned for that. All right. That is going to do it. Thank you, Alexandra G. I appreciate you. I really, really do. Thank you. All right. Again, on your way out, if you have not already done so, smash up that like button, share this out. Again, thank you for everybody who's been watching on X. Much appreciated. We're heading out. We're going to go over, when you get over to Joe's stream, CCM raid in the chat. I appreciate everybody. You have a great rest of your day. We're out.